Good morning and thank you for joining on this webinar. For those of you who've not been on one before, obviously we have quite a number of webinars throughout the year on all different subjects. Today we're looking at BIM for Housebuilders. My name is Gareth Spencer. I'm going to be your host today. Just to give you a brief overview of me, I'm one of the BIM consultants here at Graitec. I used to come from industry. I spent 13 years working for consultancies in the industry. I was a senior technician and CAD coordinator for Gifford and Ramble. I'm a Revit user, AutoCAD user, and I've been doing this role for about 4 years. So I'm going to go through today's agenda. So we're going to look at understanding the government mandate for 2016 and 2015 and the key deliveries of BIM, automated information, intelligent modelling, and working with the supply chain. So just briefly, Graitec, we are a global organisation. We have been going for a number of years now, and we have presence locally throughout the UK, Europe, and across to the States. We are also a platinum reseller, which means obviously we can give you a high-end service in all different solutions from AEC, manufacturing and infrastructure. We have offices worldwide now. We have recently obviously gone over into the States with another company we've just acquired. We've got plenty of experience across broad areas, not just CAD but BIM and other solutions that we offer. We are one of the biggest partners of Autodesk in the world now, and we've worked with plenty of customers to help with their projects across the world. And we've got quite a lot of employees now, and we also have an internal R&D team which we look at developing software and solutions for others, not just in the BIM environment. We do have people like myself who are highly skilled and come from industry, so we've got a lot of knowledge from all different areas and disciplines required that our clients are asking for. So just a brief overview. Obviously we are in the UK here, but we do have offices over in Europe, Asia and over in the States, and in the European market we have quite a number of Graitec offices, of 5 in the UK. Not just the AEC space, but we do look after other disciplines. We get involved in the in the industries, specifically on the screen. So infrastructure, manufacturing, plant, oil and gas industries as well. So first question is, what is BIM? So before we actually go into looking at aspects of the products, we can consider what BIM is. So first of all, before we even start looking at BIM, we need to talk about what the construction is. So first of all, the communication of our content, our design intent, effect, what file formats we'd use, what methods we'd currently use, whether that be hand-drawn, whether that be CAD, two-dimensional. Okay. We'd also need to be able to collaborate that information with our supply chain. Do they trust the information that we send? Is it correct? How much data do we actually provide for them? Excuse me. And have we looked at taking advantages of other technology that's out there? A lot of people still consider that they're happy with just using two-dimensional CAD and not even interested in looking at other solutions that may be out there. Obviously things like Revit are a solution that offers a bit more than what AutoCAD can do, but still produce the two-dimensional information. So if we ask the question, what is BIM? Okay, building information modeling. Okay, so it's been around now for a number of years. A lot of people may know more about it. Some people may not know much about it. But BIM is a process that generates digital aspects of a physical and functional characteristics of a model, or information provided as data throughout the project. So if we think about this, why would we need to do BIM, and why now? Well, one of the key things is obviously the government is stipulating any government project by this year must be provided in a BIM format. We've also got to consider that BIM is an intelligent model-based process that provides a value of a life cycle of a project. So it's not just the consultants building a model and providing two-dimensional data to the contractor and the client. It's a life cycle, so you're providing a three-dimensional design in a model, but still producing the 3D information in the form of drawings like you would do normally. Okay, and it's a process that's creating intelligent information that can be used in the full life cycle of a building, so it can be passed on from the consultant to all the aspects of the design, so the contractor and the client. If we consider what it can do, so BIM drives a more efficient workflow, so it helps you coordinate information between others, whether that be the design team, the contractor, the client. It makes greater precision in information. Obviously, you're modelling the full three-dimensional elements of the building or structure or whatever it's going to be you're considering to do. It should improve the outputs you get from a project, because all the data you're providing, you can provide it on an earlier basis rather than later on in the actual design. It can also consider the decision making throughout projects, so what sort of things you're going to use for construction, if the information is clear, if it works, so you can potentially iron out any issues before you get to site rather than being on site and having to down tools because obviously there's an issue. So the advantages you're going to consider that using BIM excuse me, is that it has the intelligence that allows you to sorry if I move the slide on, to collaborate the workflow better, so you can simulate the performance of the buildings, okay, or structure or whatever it is you're going to do. The construction should hopefully reduce the number of RFIs that you may get through, be able to deliver on time, and even look at things like safety before you have to get to elements of issues on site. More efficient buildings, so you can also look at the analysis of the building structure before you get to site, not afterwards. Also, you can produce a fully working, fully graphical model, for example, before you get onto site, so you can see the potential issues or potential changes that you can look at. One of the key advantages, obviously, is that what the government are looking at is to reduce things like cost. Obviously, the cost of building structures today has rocketed in price, so they're looking at to reduce things like cost. So if we look at what the difference is between obviously your standard old ways of modelling or drawing, you're producing just two-dimensional data. So now obviously using things like BIM is going to help you still produce your two-dimensional data, but it's further than the actual standard two-dimensional drawings you've before. So you're producing a model-based design where you can get the two-dimensional information from. It's intelligent with data-rich information. So for example, you place a door in, you can specify the manufacturer, and all the technical information associated to that door can be placed in there. You can keep all the information centralized, so it can be saved for later use, so the life cycle of the building or structure, whatever it may be, so the information can be utilized again and again and again. You can collaborate that data with the facilities, so if anything needs changing, you can have all the technical information stored within inside that model or in other data sources. It helps coordinate information more with the supply chain, so you can data drop the information from things like the model and provide that to a supply chain and give them more information required that they'll ask for at an early stage rather than later on. And it's a good way to look at your virtual environment before you've even constructed it. One of the approaches that you consider is obviously the design and construction of the documentation deliverables. We can build a model quickly for early stage concept, which we can provide, the documentation that we need. We can also change the level of detail of that into a more detailed model and perform pretty pictures if required for realistic visualizations for clients to see what it could look like before it's built, so changes can be made if needed. We can look at construction site simulation, so we can see potential issues on site that we may find. For example, you may need to move some temporary works, you may need to put in cranes, etc., and move them on and off site. So sometimes if you've got a site that's too small and you can't store information, products on the site, so you actually have issues with storage, we can simulate that with the tools that you can use from Autodesk, for example. And also quantity takeoff is probably a key thing, so you want to know what quantity of information that's in the doors, windows, etc., and look at costing. You can take the technical information from a model and deliver that information more accurately than you would do before. So one of the key things, obviously, the government have mandated that by this year that we must provide a level 2 BIM to work on all government projects. Okay, so obviously this is going to be looking at reducing things like cost, wastage, etc. When working on a project, and predominantly government projects, but from what I can see myself and others out there in the environment, that potentially that is happening across all projects, not just government related projects. Obviously BIM is a growing, or has been a fast growing thing in the industry for the last number of years, and by 2025 obviously the government and the construction industry are acquiring or looking to reduce costs considerably, emissions from sites or greenhouse gases while building the construction of any buildings, and also produce faster construction times, so less downtime with building, more efficient buildings as well, and improve how we work with suppliers and things like that. So one of the targets for this year is obviously the government wanting to reduce things like costs, accidents, construction time by those percentages on the screen. Also improve things like the productivity of the work and turnover, so more efficient, more cost-effective projects. So rather than it being 50 million, for example, you can reduce the cost down by 10% if that's required. So some of you may have not heard of this, but if you haven't, COBie, this is in the forms of things like spreadsheets. One thing that a lot of people may consider is not everyone's going to be designing a building structure and be able to use things like Revit. So what you want to be able to do is data drop the information from an application like Revit into the form of a spreadsheet, which is the COBie spreadsheet. Okay, that's short for the Construction Operations Building Information Exchange. This allows users who are building models, information that's being provided within a model can be passed down the chain to your suppliers and shared easily, rather than using all the actual Revit models and actually passing those on, which can be difficult for those who don't use it. BIM itself, so some of you may have already seen this lovely graph. This has been going around for a long time. There's loads of different variations out there. Obviously level 0 we've probably all been doing for many years now. Level 1 is another sort of aspect that is available as well, and it's been probably around for a number of years. A lot of people have been aspiring to move into level 2, where level 2 is more predominantly producing your three-dimensional models with intelligent data that you can export out with and collaborate with others across vast variety of industries and contractors. Level 3, I don't believe, or from what everyone can see, it is not a solution that is viable yet, but that's where we aspire to be. Okay, for part of level 2, we have quite a number of supporting documentation which you can get your hands on through British standards. Okay, there is a vast number of PAS documentation now from PAS level 2, sorry, PAS document 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe 6 now, if I remember rightly. And there's a number of documentation you can download from the web. There's also other documentation, for example, BIM protocols, etc., from the web. BRE supplies some information as well. So PAS 1192 was a document that basically took over from BS 1192, so it's helping you with your project information. Okay, so you manage your information on a project. So things like helping you with your naming conventions, coordination, the level of detail of information that needs to go into your, for example, models, and BIM execution plans. So what it will do, it will tell you obviously things about the project and how you should manage the data and what levels of progress you should be at, so you can actually distinguish the information, whether it's working project you're currently working on, where the information is being shared with others, that now information is being checked or approved by others, and going on the lines of completed as well. Level of detail, so you may be looking at very early stage concept. The detail of information, you can keep it quite basic, as in the form of shapes in massing, going all the way over to handover, where it's a fully concept model that's detailed up with all the components that is required within the building. Obviously, BS 1192 is looking at layering names and things like that within your models, drawings, etc. So all the information can be provided. It knows where it's come from, and the information is clear with all the data provided in that drawing model, etc. So there's obviously things like PPQs need to be answered within a project. You can obviously download data from the web, from the BSI, which will help you fill out those PPQs. Employees' requirements is another content that you can obviously get from the web, again, which help you with all the data that you're going to provide, information that the employees require from BIM. Also moving on a little bit further, the asset management. So as you take the information a bit further, again, there's a PAS 1192 Part 3 that will give you that information. Again, it's a lovely good read. Some of the deliverables and goals that you can provide within the projects. Again, what information is required at levels, and the data that you're going to provide within the model. There is a nice little document for any house builders you can go and download, which explains a bit more in BIM and how it helps looks at within the house builders environment. Another nice read, obviously the MBS have do a national report generally every year, which tells you or gives you a bit of information on the kind of people that are using BIM, what they're using it for, how they're getting on with it, what sort of percentage of the industry is currently using BIM. Okay, so let's have a look at a bit of a demonstration. So I'm just going to pop into good old AutoCAD. So I'm in AutoCAD here, and obviously a lot of us will have started off generally with a CAD drawing. So let's just quickly open up a CAD drawing here. Let's do it this way. Okay, so when we're working in AutoCAD, obviously we produce our CAD drawings. Now, the problem that we'll find using the traditional method is we may produce plans, sections, elevations, and the biggest problem is if I need to change, for example, my drawings, so I have here my building elevations, so I've got a simple house here. I've also got my plan views. I need to consider that when I'm updating one thing, I need to update the other. So for example, if I want to update and reposition this door, it's not as simple as just updating this and everything will update. I need to consider that I've got to update my plans, my sections, my elevations, anything appropriately within here. I will also have to update my specifications if anything changes, any schedules of data, and supply that data to my design teams, my consultants that are maybe working with me within that project. So for me to update this, I've literally got to change one thing in here. Okay, so for example, I want to change this. Okay, so I'm going to move this over by a set distance. It's not as easy as just simply going in and doing that. I've changed that. You can see the hatch pattern's not gone with it, my dimensions haven't gone with it, so I've got to edit that. I've also then got to go into my elevations, update that, and any sections or any details that may change. It may even change the style of the door. I've got to select that and load in a new family, which that can take time, and I can also miss data. So the other aspect is we look at using things like Revit. So again, if I just fire up Revit here, and let's take this a bit further. So I'm going to open up a simple example here. I've got a little house that we've built here. So if we just look at this, this is a fully three-dimensional model. Okay, very similar to the plan view we've got here. We can not just put the information in as visual, but all the technical data is in there as well. So for example, I can create all the different plans, sections, elevations that are required. So if I go to a view here, okay, so here's my view. I've already built up a model, but the thing is, if I need to change something, so for example, if that wall needs to change, I can come in here and I can simply update and move that wall. What will happen is every plan, section, elevation will move within the project at the same time. So if I just, for example, take a section of view through here, you'll see I can instantly, now I'll just put a section through to here, put a section through the building at that point. I can change the level of the detail. Okay, I can hide information, I can change the scale of the view. I can hide all these in the view here, so I'll just select them. I'll just turn them off for this view. Okay, so you can see there's the view. I can come into this view, although this view being that wall here, okay, I can put on some, for example, dimensions. So I'm going to quickly just fire in a dimension here. So I'm going to pick on the wall, I'm going to put a dimension to just the wall here. So you'll see that's the current dimension of that wall. Okay, so I'll switch back to that plan. Okay, I'll do the same in this view. So you'll be able to see I can place data along there. So you'll see there's the same dimension. Okay, now also we'll make the drawing a bit clearer if we need to, but I can select that, utilizing that dimension, I can change the value. So if I said that wasn't quite right, I need it to be 2.5 meters, it's going to move it over for me instantly. It'll also move it over in that section view as well. So you'll switch back, you'll see the section views updated. So the potential of me getting issues are going to minimize, because obviously I can fix them in the model and it will update all the relevant information. If I need to change, for example, a door, I can simply select the door. I can go into the properties, I can select, change the door size, type. I can even load in a new manufacturer, etc. if I need to do that. So all the information is quickly changed without having to go, okay, well, I've updated my plan, I need to run down this section, my elevation, or my information. All the data is stored in one environment. So for example, we can schedule all this data within here without having to cause any potential problems. So for example, I've got a door schedule here with all the technical information. I can apply all that technical information inside the model and instantly get that data out on all that information that I require. So for example, that door here, if I look at this, I can put some property information in. So within here, I can put some technical data, as in what the material is, what the sizes are, who built this. So for example, the manufacturer, we can put whoever the manufacturer is in. We can put all technical data within here associated to that element. All that information then can be added to this table. So if I go into here, there's some information in here currently, but I can add more information in here where required. So as you'll see, I can, for example, put in the count so I can know how many there are. I can come down here, for example, I can have the manufacturer. Now these are just the basic information that's in the actual families within Revit. We can also put this data, add further data where required. So if I OK that, you'll see now it's updated with information. Now as soon as I put more data with inside the project, I can get it in the schedule and it will automatically update. I can select this information, I can go and hide, show in model, and you'll see it's now taken to me a view and placed. Okay, I can, for example, I can select that and go and create a similar one, and as soon as I do, you'll see it's helping me place the door with inside there. Okay, I can select it, I can change the orientation, so the actual swings internal or external. I can change the door to, for example, a single door. Okay, now Revit will automatically switch it over for you, cut the wall back appropriately. Okay, I can adjust the swing. All that information will now be back into my schedule. So all that technical information is in there. Okay, and also what you'll see is we can tag the data up with the door number and name, etc. So it's an instant change and instant information without having to do more work. Okay, it's live, it's quick, it's easy. All this information can be provided in all different floor plans, elevations. So for example, I can go to my first floor, show the information. As you'll see, I can hide, show the information below as well. If I just open up another model, okay, so what I've done already, rather than show you everything that I need to do. So I've created all my views. So for example, there's my foundation with some dimensions on. Okay, here's my ground floor with all my furniture showing in the information, some dimensions again. I can easily populate a drawing. So for example, here's one with all the drawings on. So you'll see I've got all my floor plans already in the view. I also have one with all my elevations, my sections, and I can even, if I require, I can put an isometric model views together and put that onto a sheet. As you'll see, there's all the views. And it's a simple way to do it. So if I switch back into here, I can simply, here's my drawing, select the view that I want. For example, this view here, I can drag it across, I can place. As you'll see, the view's a bit small there. I can go in, I can turn, just like in CAD on the viewport, for example, I can minimize things down so I can see the area I want to see in the view. I can also change the scale. I can adjust this appropriately. For example, I may not want to see these in the view, so I can hide them or turn them off within the view. Okay, and then I can hide that viewport, so I can reposition this on here. Intelligence behind this allows me to put things like a tag associated to the view, which will give me the scale. Okay, but it's obviously looking at the name over here, which we can change as well. So I can, say, for example, this is the ground floor, and this will automatically update appropriately. So all this data is being added and information is updated. The intelligence again behind your drawing, it will put the things like the scale on for you. Now because I've got the section markers turned off, I won't see this, but if I was to put a section view on, and I'll tell you it's showing in a second when I turn them back on, I wanted a section view onto here, it will place it on the view. Now what it will do, if I just go back into here, I'm just going to turn those back on quickly so you'll see. Okay, the section will automatically update appropriately for that view and then allow you to basically indicate which drawing it's on. It's impossible to change that unless it's a manual override, so you'll always know where the section is, so whoever reads the drawing can know that that drawing sheet is 101 rather than going, okay, well it's not a 101 now, where is it? Okay, the only way you'll get that wrong is if you don't use the sheet. So all that information you provide, okay, whether it be in 2D format, can be exported, you can print it out and you can take it out further. Now what I've done here is I've taken this a little bit further. Now I'm just using Revit here, but you can use other applications. I've produced all this information and popped it into a site. So what I'm doing here, when this opens, okay, is this is a site model. Okay, so you'll see here I've linked in all those objects. Okay, so I'll just zoom in here. Okay, now I've just placed in the same ones. Obviously it can change for a project, but the thing is, if that, for example, changed, all these, because they're exactly the same, will update as well because they're linked through. I don't have to update this model in any way, shape or form. Okay, I can update the linked model, which will update this one entirety in this model. Okay, I can, for example, populate all information. Now I've put a few things like trees and street furniture in, a few things like some fences up around the actual project which I can model in, which makes it easy for the user to visualize as well. And if we take it a bit further, now I've done a quick render. I used the Autodesk 360 account to do that. So basically what I did within here, I set a view, I pointed the view at the project, and I took a render picture. Now it's obviously introduced things like the shadowing, so I can specify where the sun is in the sky at one time. If we put the objects in, you'll see it's rendered the car, it's rendered some trees. I've got some lighting in here, so I can actually do a night type render as well, which helps us coordinate information a bit easier. And potentially for your clients, you can see this information. We could actually take those Revit models into things like Navisworks for your timelining for your project and your quantity takeoff. We could even go further for an early stage concept. We could take it into things like InfraWorks and Civils 3D for your site. Okay, so we could look at what needs to be cleared on the site, so cut and fill, the road design, etc. Within here, so we can coordinate information within our products. Now I said I did a render. Okay, so what I basically did, I took a render and I popped it up to the cloud, and what it will do, as you'll see here, it's rather than leave my machine rendering, okay, I popped it into the cloud and basically got the cloud to do it. So that rendered for me within the cloud, so it saved me time and downtime, so I'm not sat there actually working through other things while that's rendering. I can actually carry on with building up the model and changing things if needed to. Okay. Obviously, to do that, you need to use your cloud credits. You do get some free with the products that you buy, and then you can buy others if and when you require. Alternatively, I could have used, for example, when I took the view here, this is the view I took of the project. Okay, now it doesn't look great at the moment, but obviously when it renders it looks better. But you'll see here I can literally just click on the render, apply all the settings appropriately and do the render. Now I'm not going to leave that going now because I'll be sat here for a few minutes, and obviously I'm sure you don't want to sit here watching things render. So obviously using the tools, we can take the information, we can change information, and obviously it will update across multiple data. Okay, so for example, in the model here, if I'd have changed that linked building, it would update automatically. Okay, makes things a bit easier. So obviously using these tools are going to help you move forward, take the information, make it clear. Potentially, for example, if you're on a new building site, rather than just showing 2D plans or maybe a nice little pretty picture render, you could use things like 3D Max to do a nice rendered walkthrough, so you can actually show potentially what things could change. Even you could show potentially in the building construction the different styles of kitchens that you could have in there. You could have nice little rendered pictures of all the different styles for clients to see. So if I a couple of things to finish up on. Obviously things that the services that Graitec can offer. I mean, we are a consultancy house as well as a reseller. We can help you with your BIM protocols. We can help you standardize your templates. We can help you move forward and implement all this software, so you don't have to sit there thinking, okay, what do we do next? How do we do this? We can come along and guide you through that process. We have a number of professional services within the organization. We have people within our company that have multiple disciplines and technical knowledge to help you move forward in the areas that you require. In the UK, we have 29 technical heads split across the AEC and the manufacturing space, which allow us to dip into all different types of knowledge where, for example, I may not have the knowledge in a certain discipline. I can go and speak to a colleague and get them involved and help you and guide you forward with the best solutions that we have. Most of us have come from industry, so obviously we know about the industry and where it's gone and where it's going moving forward. Okay, and we are experts in our field, so hopefully we're able to help you moving forward and what you require and what you need. Other things to bear in mind, obviously we do offer training in a classroom form or a bespoke form, so we can do our training at our offices and guide you through all the different training requirements that you require, whether that be AutoCAD, Revit or other programs that we offer. We also offer bespoke training where we can customize agendas to suit you, because for example you may come along and do an essentials training at our office, but then once you've used the software a bit more, you move forward, you want to actually look at different things that's maybe on an agenda and workflows between other products, for example. We can help with guiding you forward with things like your implementation of the software. So personally, I do a lot of template creation and standards with clients, so basically helping adapt CAD and BIM standards within your company moving forward. Set up a template so all users guided down the right path using the right standards for their company. If you need any support within your company to help with your first project or with other projects that you're working on, we can do that as well. So we can come along, we can handheld you through a project, guide you through, help you with all the actual work that you need. Assist where required if you've got any potential issues, support you on the actual problems that you may be having where you may not before. We've just recently implemented a new support within Graitec. We now have a designated team looking after all our clients, and we strive to basically help you as quickly as possible. We've implemented a 2-hour response time, so that means we do our utmost to get you supported within that 2 hours. Obviously we sometimes may not be able to answer that question straight away and have to go and do some check-in and get some more guidance on that, but also we can remote to your desktop and fix problems quickly if required. We've also teamed up with Globally Learning, which are an online e-learning company. They offer training in all different aspects of software. Where this is going to help is, for example, if you have come on a training course and you have struggled a little bit and you want a bit more help and guidance, using the online e-learning can help, where you just run through some very simple, very easy training online videos. There's content you can download and try, and there's workflows, training material as well to work through, so you can actually help and move forward with yourselves. Looks at something like this. It's very, very basic, very, very simple, but very effective. So it gives you an overview of the information it's talking about. There's generally a live demo as well. You can click on and watch a video, tips and tricks as you're going through. Images of where you can find information within AutoCAD, Revit or whatever it's going to do, and also they'll let me try, so practical exercises that you can do. So just to bear in mind, we obviously have been going for a while now, and we help a lot of clients in the AEC space. We're helping a lot of clients in the manufacturing space as well, and obviously in infrastructure we have worked with potentially quite a number of clients, and there are just a few on the screen as you can see. So just to highlight, we do offer BIM solutions, and predominantly the Autodesk you may know about, but we do have our own in-house programs that we are developing. One thing I'm going to show you quickly in a second is that we have a PowerPack for Revit, which will help you with the tools that some of the things you may not, Revit may not do. So potentially here, if you're looking at the suites that you may need to buy, Building Design Suite is one. Building Design Suite has all your AutoCAD applications in the standard setup. Moving into the premium, you have things like Revit, Navisworks and 3D Max, and then moving into your professional, your Ultimate, sorry, you have things like Inventor and Robot Structural Analysis and Navisworks Manage. The PowerPack is something that we've introduced quite recently, and what it is, it's free to our Graitec customers who buy their subscriptions through us, and you can also buy on the App Store. We're hoping to currently release a version 2 very, very soon with some more enhanced tools to help with Revit users. One thing that we've found is Revit is a great application, but there is some issues because obviously it won't do everything that everybody wants. So what we're looking at is to build in all those tools to give to our clients as a nice thank you for buying the subscriptions through us, but also develop the software a bit further to get more out of it, so you don't have to spend quite a little bit longer doing things inside Revit that would normally take a few moments with a few clicks. Other suites you could consider is obviously from the building design suite is the infrastructure design suite. Again, you can get things like AutoCAD, Civils 3D, Map. Again, you can get the Revit application, Navisworks, and Robot if you go to the Ultimate suites. But one key thing in there, which is really, really good for example, early stage concept, is InfoWorks. And again, InfoWorks is a very, very good tool that you can utilize. You've got a site, you know where that site is, you can get free data which you can download from the web and pop information within to the model. So you can then see how the model looks before you even start doing any design. So just thing to remember, we are here to help you. We're here. We've got plenty of people within Graitec to help you. We're there to hold your hand, realise the power of what BIM can offer, and move it forward for you rather than to sit there scratching your heads wondering what you do next. We've got tools that we offer. We can hopefully help you and guide you forward. We also have a team of developers, so if you need something building, we can do that for you. Great, and I hope you found that useful this morning. It's been quite an interesting presentation on what you can do with BIM and moving forward. So thanks for attending. I hope you all enjoyed that. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. If you put some of the questions in the chat box now, I'll try and answer the best I can. But if you've got any questions or anything after that, please feel free to get in touch. Thank you.